Welcome to Las Vegas, Nevada, here at the South Point Casino, the site of our Las Vegas 4-star CSI competition. And we're at the South Point Arena. Our winning round classic will be the starting group today. Mavis Spencer will start the field off. 29 starters here in the group, followed by Connor Swell, big winner with Theo. Earlier this week, we go on, you see Jamie Taylor, Italy's Juan Carlos Garcia, Sweden's Lisa Owen Hansen, Kirian Boyce Lockhart. We go to Carl Cook, who's been having a great fall. Mavis Spencer back again. Then just Kamagodic, Connor Swale on another mount. He has been on fire this week. Misty Cassar, Luis Sabina Gonçalves from Portugal, always one to watch. Rowan Willis was very good in our speed competition. Aaron Ballard all in that starting field. Again, with Savannah Jenkins, Mark Watring, and Melanie Liu will wind us up. I'm Oliver Kennedy. I'm joined here with Adam Cromarty. And Adam, you've had a chance to look at the track. Give us a little idea of what we're going to see here.
Yeah, Guilherme Jorge is our course designer, of course, and he's built, literally all over the world at the highest level, from the Olympics, World Cup finals, World Equestrian Games. He's done it all. He'll be setting the World Cup here in Vegas later, but for this one, I think he set a really nice track, actually. The riders were saying that, just how well Guy uses the room. We'll take a look properly when the first one comes on course, but we've got all the ingredients there. And also some turns that they can try and make up some time, because it's a winning round format today. So it's going to be the top 10 or all clears that return for that winning round to ride against the clock. But the starting order is going to be decided by the faults and the time. So we'll keep you up to date with how that looks as things progress. But the time is important here in round number 1.
So they want to be prompt but not take too much risk, so they leave them all up. A clear, tidy clear would be the goal here to make it into that group that comes back for the winning round format. Mavis Spencer of the U.S. will start us off for mount the 12-year-old mare by Clearway Belladonna, and Mavis Spencer for the United States.
So we'll take a look at that course then as they come on track. Mavis Spencer, great pathfinder. She's had this horse competing since the start of the year out in Thermal, and we start over this Oxer right down from the opposite end of the in-gate. From here we roll back round towards the vertical at fence number 2, and then it's kind of left-handed on a bending line, and this is quite an ascending Oxer, so the front rail just slightly lower than the back rail at fence number 3. From here, you can be as tidy as you like, and this is the first real technical test on course, because they don't come much more delicate than that upright. Then you still need enough energy, and you can see Mavis getting her leg on down to the square Oxer at fence number 5. Double combination coming up on the long side next. It's a bit of a power line, Oxer to Oxer, 2 strides through the middle there. Then onto a delicate vertical just off the corner, just in front of the in-gate at fence number 7. We roll back round, and this is a real gappy vertical. You might just draw a few horses' eyes down. Then it's left-handed down towards the Longines Oxer, fence number 9. Mavis just catching the back rail there. Then a real gymnastic test on course. Vertical, vertical Oxer, triple combination, 1 non-jumping stride in between each of the elements. Then they land, and another really committed 3-stride distance down to the very delicate plank at fence number 11, and you're not quite finished yet because it's the grapes and the Liverpool water tray underneath.
Well, Mavis comes home on a 4-fault effort, 71.95 her time out of that 76-second time allowed. Fortunate 4 there for her, but she still has 1 more to ride in the class today. But 4 in this format still can make it in, but they'll carry that 4 forward should they be one of the faster 4s into that winning round.
Yeah, and the great thing is that when they come back, although that will help them decide their starting order, all the athletes when they come back do come back on a 0 scorecard.
Well, the man who has been on fire this fall, it's Ireland's Connor Swale. He finished 1 and 2 in our World Cup qualifying event, working for the class tonight. He was the winner here with Theo, 9-year-old Holsteiner, gelding by Christian 25, owned jointly by Connor and Team Philipparts.
He's just been on absolute fire recently, and I think he's got the most exciting string of horses that he's probably ever had, really. And if we can get him through to the winning round, he is going to be quick.
It will.
Yeah, that'll add the pressure on. Quick reminder as well, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you're watching on YouTube, remember and hit that share button, let all your friends know that they can enjoy the action here in Vegas. Let us know where you're watching from as well, and if you've got any questions, you can pop them in the comments box below. This horse just really pings off the ground.
It settled in a little bit last night, or 2 nights ago. He was it's a little bit different horse coming in today. I mean, it was a speed class the other night, but
he's settled down a little bit since then.
One of his younger horses. I mean, he asked a lot of it 2 nights ago. He's going to have a quick time, being very efficient, knowing he had the rail. Coming home in 70.92 on 4.
I always think it's an interesting format, this winning round, because once we've got our top 10, we know it's top 10 are all clears that progress, but once we've got 10 through, we start to get a bit of a cut-off. And I think you really saw Connor. I mean, Connor's always quite efficient across the ground, but as soon as he had that rail, he had it in the back of his mind. He really wants to earn that place in the winning round, so he started to pick up speed a little bit.
You know, this was a format that up until a few years ago wasn't run much in the U.S. on the international competitions, but I mean, very regularly it's done in Europe and in Spruce Meadows.
Yep.
And you know, in this format, the riders really do need to be very prompt in their first round. It's almost like a speed class with a jump off, or a table A speed, because you want to make sure that you're quick. So if you do have that rail, you don't get stuck and not get to make it into that top group. Vanessa Mannix, Calgary, joining us. Our Canadian rider is on Kidding Van de Hesser. 11-year-old gelding by Winning Mood van de Arenberg out of Thunder van de Zoethoven mare, the Belgian bred. Finished up in the top 3 in our qualifier for tonight's World Cup class.
The qualifier for the qualifier.
Qualifier for the qualifier, yes. The Q for the Q. I'm kind of hung up just a little bit there.
It's a real power line coming off the corner. Vanessa's really been building up consistency. We've seen her placed at a few of the World Cup events on the North American League. She's got a great horse called Katinka that she'll be riding tonight.
Well, the Markel plank coming down on 8 as they head to the final jump. So Canada's Vanessa Mannix in 73.51 on a total of 8 faults.
I think that's a plank that we might see come down 1 or 2 times more, because, you know, it's on completely flat cups and it's quite a kind of narrow plank, so there's not much weight in it either. Justin Castle's watching in North Yorkshire, back in the UK, where I'll be flying back to tomorrow after 7 weeks. Doris Hudgens is watching in Richmond. Good to have you with us. We've got Miranda watching in South Africa. Donna's in Prince Edward Island, and Heather Piat Fisher watching in Pennsylvania. Good to have you with us. This one's always competitive.
Bull Run's Agape U.S. rider Kristen Vanderveen is up next. 9-year-old gelding by Laval 2 out of Qatar Gazette, the Holsteiner, owned by Bull Run Jumpers. One of our faster riders on the tour.
Yeah, she would fall into that same category as Connor Swale. You know, if she got through to that winning round, it will certainly add the pressure on.
Yeah.
We've got to remember as well, the starting order in the winning round is determined by the results from this round. So if they do go through on faults, they lose the faults, but that score will determine the starting order. You see how carefully she set up for that line, but maybe just lost a bit of power coming off the corner.
Yeah. Have to get in, get to the thing, get rocked back, and still get across the back of that oxer.
There's a lot going on in that line. Although it looks like 2 simple fences placed on alongside, there's a lot of questions there.
Still looking for that first clear as she comes around on 4.
And her time's good.
Very rarely is she on the upper end of the time allowed.
Yeah.
And the Markel fence down again. She's on 8 coming to the last. Oh, Kristen and Agape will pick up a time fault as well. The rare time fault from Kristen, 77.71. But this is one of the younger horses in her string. And kind of just moving up with her into this level. Later, you know, this summer picked him up.
Yeah, and I think after she had that second fence down, she knew that she was out of contention. You know, on 4 faults, you're in with a chance of going through. On 8 faults, I don't think they're going to get through. So I think she did steady down a little bit after having that second fence down.
Nikki Galligan and Castellissimo will be our next up. Nikki will feature tonight as well. He represents Ireland. 10-year-old Holsteiner gelding by Castellan, 3 out of a Clinton mare. Owned jointly by the Guardian Stables and Nikki.
Nikki's one of these Irish riders with real good natural feel.
Had a very good winter this year with top international placings in Thermal. Came back east, did Upperville this year on the 4-star tour.
So I've not seen that first clear as yet. We've got 2 on 4, 1 on 8, 1 on 9. Fastest 4 fault rounds been 70.92. That was Connor Swale. If you've just joined us, it's a winning round format, so top 10 or all clears will progress forward. Larissa's watching in Australia, Glenn in Wisconsin, Jackie in England as well. We've got Kristen in California and Diane in Australia. Do remember, hit that share button as well. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments box below if you're watching on FEI YouTube or the Facebook page. This could be our first clear though.
Here we go on a clear ride, just under that 76 time allowed, 75.20, but that will book him a ticket into the second round. So Ireland's Nikki Galligan posts that first clear. So we take a look back at some of the efforts of his on the track today.
It's got just enough blood, this horse, you know, it gives you that nice feel that you've got something in your hand. You can see it just kind of taking him to the fence. But it's quite adjustable as well.
So 9 nations represented here today in our winning round class, including the host country. Next rider up for the host country of the U.S., here's Jamie Taylor and Qatar. 11-year-old stallion by Kidam de Revel out of Bachman's Cordamezed mare, the Oldenburg Guitar.
Nikki Larson's just joined watching from Calgary again, she said. I think you were with us the other night, Nikki. Shannon Lee Cade says amazing, talking about that last round. Stein Nielsen watching in Denmark. One thing I've noticed here is this is a 4-star event, and it's not normal at 4-star events to get these kind of 1.35 m classes that we've had earlier in the week, and then we've got this at 145. It's given the riders a chance to bring a variety of horses.
Start up some of the younger horses in the class. Get them into the international format.
You can see it just having a little look at the oxer as it came down there.
Well, there we have our second clear back-to-back. And Jamie Taylor will book her ticket to round number 2.
So 2 clears, 2 on 4, 1 on 8 and 1 on 9. Remember, top 10 or all clears come back. Once we get that 10, we'll keep you updated with a cut-off. Lots of people watching on YouTube live as well. Bluebell Stable said the fluffy noseband is everything. freelance, also watching in Alberta. Sashina in Oregon. Good to have you with us on the FEI YouTube channel. Long way to go as well. About 22 combinations left to come forwards here in round number 1.
Here from Italy, it is Bob W. and Juan Carlos Garcia on the Neil Jones equestrian-owned entry. It's a 9-year-old gelding by Nabeb Derev out of Padnes Mare, Royal Dutch Warm Blood, with Italy's Juan Carlos Garcia.
Eva Drent says she's watching from the Netherlands. Are there any Dutch riders here?
Not this week.
Don't think there are.
No. We have had Harry Smolders out here in the past showing in Vegas, but no Dutch this week.
Nikki Larson says she's trying to convince her rider to come to the Vegas show next year. Should definitely do it, Nikki. There's so much to do here.
We'll be looking forward to seeing you and meeting you.
Judy Burns has just joined us from Florida. You'll be heading there soon, Oliver?
I'll be heading down there in about 3 weeks.
Oh, taking a little bit of a check and a fight and down that line. And Carlos making a good job so far. Down to the triple combination.
2 efforts left. On track to see our 3rd clear, but he's a little bit slow. He's going to have to push through that finish line. No. He finishes up on 1 time fault. 76.86. That could be a very costly time fault.
It could be, depending on what the rest do. So we've got 2 clear. That one on a time fault, a couple on 4 faults, 1 on 8, 1 on 9. We know it's the top 10 are all clears. So if we don't get 10 clears, then he's in. But if we do get 10 clears, he's out.
Our West Coast rider, Clea Cadell, is on the Spyglass Hill entry Da Vinci. 13-year-old gelding by numero uno out of Haarlem Mare, Royal Dutch Warm Blood.
Barbara's just joined us in Austria. Ali in Pakistan watching. Georgia is watching from Georgia, which is fun. Shannon's in Lansdale.
Is that kind of like a George Foreman thing where every kid is named George?
I'm not sure.
That way you never forget where he's from or what their name was. A little regrouping here, miscalculation.
I think this might well have just kind of stepped up to this level. And
yeah, she's just stepping up into the international ranks.
And over here on the West Coast, I mean, they don't really ride indoors that often, and it is completely different. You know, the tests and the questions just come up so much quicker. So if she can pop in a circle, rebalance, and then manage to get home.
Pushed out over the B part of the double.
But I think that's going to be it.
Yeah. And the wave rider will finish up no score.
I'll count as our second disobedience. So of course we heard the bell there, so she'll be eliminated. But it's also, you know, it's one of these things. You can come in here, you can jump around like that, and you've got to look at the positives as well. She now knows what she can go home and what she can work on.
He's Lisa Ola Hansen from Sweden on Winchester second. The Campo Bridge Z, a 9-year-old Zangerscheid stallion by DeBal CNH. And Madeline Strom, the co-ownership here for Lisa's mount. 2 clear, 1 on a time fault, 2 on 4. Those are the top 5 right now. Jamie Taylor and Nikki Galligan are assured of a jump-off appearance. for the winning round of our competition.
Chloe's just joined us from Switzerland. Zapster says, can we see the live standings anywhere? If you go to longinetiming.com and find the event on there, then you can see the start list, you can see the course plan, you can see the live scoring as well. Nat Eventing's just joined from southern Canada. Sarah says she doesn't want to study math, she just wants to jump. And we've got Arita from Argentina just joined us as well.
Argentina?
Argentina.
Is that aluminium like? Now the skinny catches up there with Lisa. And they take the A element front rail down of the double are on 8. I know she doesn't want to study math, but you need to study the math.
So you can count the faults.
That's right.
And the time faults and work out things. I reckon we might end up taking 1, possibly 2 through on 4 faults, but I think any more than that, it really is, you know, academic and about giving your horse a nice finish.
Well, they pick up 2 more rails at A and B of the triple. And a rub as they come home on 16 faults, just under that time allowed in 75.23 for Lisa. Ranked right now in 8th place. We have seen the top 10 in the order. 9 horses have gone so far. One scratch out of that top 10 in the order. Here's Carry-On Voice Lockhart. CMS Gardaí Shore is Carry-On's mount. The 8-year-old gelding, Irish sport horse by Dallas out of an Indoctro mare.
This will be her main horse internationally at the moment. She had a horse called Pharaoh a couple of years ago that jumped nicely for her. Her pink fetlock boots really stand out against this grey coloured horse. This horse is naturally forward, it sort of attacks those distances. You can see how adjustable it was around the corner, and then she needs to just push down there to keep that energy moving forward. This is one she brought out internationally for the first time back in August this year. We've seen her jump a few times at Thunderbird near Vancouver. It was one that Jan Kandel actually rode last year. Well, and another one as well.
Markel Plank coming down on 8 as they head to the final Oxer. And they take the front rail of that Oxer down. They'll finish on 12 with a time fault as well for 13 in 77.53. 77.53 on 13 total penalties.
That triple combination down to the Markels, it's almost like a boulder rolling down a hill. Unless you've got the canter organised before you come off the corner to the first part, you know, there's really nothing, there's no space to make any corrections even before you get through here. It might look like there's a bit of space in there, but those 3 strides come up so quickly.
Sri Gordon Solanki represents Israel today on Laurel Piana Ebony MSF, a 12-year-old stallion by warrant out of a Jasper mare. Tomboy Farms, the owners of this Royal Dutch Warm Blood.
Ali, who's watching in Pakistan, is a level 1 FEI jumping judge, learning to start horse jumping in Pakistan. Great to have you with us. Not the best start there for
Kind of hung
Sri.
up there over that Oxer.
suppose in a winning round format though, if you are going to have a fence down, you want to try and be the fastest 4 to make sure you get a place in the winning round. So, you know, looking at the bright side, if you're going to have one down, have it at the first
Better to
fence.
have the first than the last.
Absolutely. Carol Ann's watching in South Africa, Amanda in Langley.
Now the skinny comes down also.
It's a real delicate fence, that one.
Just about 8 feet wide, I think.
Diego's watching in Italy, but he said something in Italian, so I have no idea what it says. Oh, I've just done Google Translation actually. It says hi from Italy. Cerise had some great horses over the years. She's based on the West Coast, isn't she?
Yeah.
For those watching from various places around the world, the West Coast is normally quite warm and quite sunny, so they don't really have too many indoor venues. Most of the competition over here would be outdoors, so this is a real different test for them this week.
They finish on 16 jumping, 1 on the clock for 17:76.97 is their time on the course, just over that time allowed.
Jennifer Snow says she's watching in New York, cheering on Isabel. Loves her mare. Says she's going to be jumping a little bit later.
Here it's very cold back on the East Coast right now.
Yeah.
Reports there, I get to head back there on Monday. Here's Carl Cook, and he is on Kalinka van het Zorglied, 11-year-old mare by Thunder van de Zoethoven out of Flipperdale. Belgian bred, is owned by Signe Osby out of Woodside, California. Carl's been having a pretty good fall this season. Traverse City went on a bit of a tear there with a bunch of wins.
He had a pretty good fall the other day as well, actually, because if you follow him on Instagram, he did one of his walking and talking videos talking about the prize giving that he got into the other day. And although it's the first time the horse has ever done it, it reared up, it stood right up, and he's put a couple of pictures on there, and you could see that the horse was actually sort of vertical. And eventually he did kind of topple off, and the horse's back foot just caught his breeches and ended up ripping a huge hole in his breeches. So if you follow him on Instagram, take a look at that.
Pretty much shredded them.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
It's always good to follow Carl on the Instagram and on social media, because it is quite entertaining. He has a huge following. His walking and talking series.
Yeah. And he's making a good job of this horse today.
Nice. Ooh, little rub there, but he's looks like on it with a clear. He should be good on time.
Yeah,
Carl
nice.
Cook will make it in as our third clear round. And he is the fastest of the clears right now. So if that holds up, he'll be coming back in the last spot in the winning round, the second portion of our class.
And we've seen 12 go through so far. We know its top 10 are all clears, so at the moment the 10th place cutoff sits on 16 faults, but there's 16 left, so you know we're going to see that filled with clears, the time fault, and maybe 1 or 2 4 faults, I would think.
Well, here's Mavis Spencer. Mavis back on her second mount. She started us off with her first ride with a 4-fault score on Belladonna. Now she's back on the 9-year-old mare that she shows. It's Volcana, who is by Volcano out of a Coronado 3 mare, the Westphalian. Volcana with Mavis Spencer.
It's a good time for Mavis. She's been building up her string, and she's such a hard worker.
Not sure the fly bonnet there with the red, looks like, I'm not sure, a ribbon or a red flower.
Yeah, sometimes if they sort of bite it, they're a bit funny in the warm-up. They can put something on the front, but I'm not quite sure. When she's finished, I'll text her and see if we can find out. She's wearing what's going on there.
The big ear bonnets. When we say that these are really thick, so it muffles the sound more. Where most fly bonnets are kind of thin, these are really thick, almost like scuba gear. So they kind of muffles the sound, keeps them so that the noise, crowd noise and all doesn't distract them as much.
And this one's on top of a liquid titanium mask, which just is meant to help them kind of relax and focus a bit more.
Now she's on 4 again with the mare coming into the...
Trying to be quick though.
Just got down the 3 a little too quick.
And then waits to the last because she knows that, you know, after you've had the two fences, you're pretty much out of the game.
Well, on 8:74.47 is the time. That will go into 8th right now. So now it's 13 faults or better to make it into that winning round. By the end here, it probably will be four faults or better to get in. We're at 4 faults right now, takes you through the top 6. Just kind of didn't get out over the back of that oxer coming out and caught it behind. Kamagodic rides out of Virginia, just outside of Washington in Northern Virginia. She is aboard the entry TaylorMade Cash is King, a 13-year-old stallion by Cassini 2 out of Singular Yoder Mare, the Hanoverian, with Kamagodic.
Diego's watching from Portugal. He's going to be saying good luck to Luis Sabino, who jumps later on. Lynn Cowell says, "Why everyone, look how big the horse community is, literally from all over the world." Kama's now going to try and be quick, I would imagine. Catches that one as well.
In that move to try and be a fast 4, she's now got 2 more down. She's at 12. Or she just got back, was out at least, and she just got this horse back early this fall. On 16 as Kama heads to the last, looks like she'll probably pick up time fault also, which she does. 17 total. 77.47 is the time for Kamagodic, and TaylorMade Cash is King.
Penelope's been celebrating her birthday, and she just got her first Lemieux set, which is a brand that's kind of huge over in Europe. It's not quite as big here in North America. Izzy just had a lesson this morning. She jumps 2 foot, maybe up to 2'3". But Izzy, all the riders you see here, you know, started jumping that, and it's taken years and years of hard work to get to this level.
And this year here they have at this show part of the USHA Championship, the outreach and affiliate programs for the national championship for that height. So maybe you can come out here and show next year.
Absolutely.
Get to watch all of your international favorites right here in this very arena in the South Point. Here's the hottest rider back. Connor has the fastest 4 fault round on his first mount, but he is on Kos van Heist, the 11-year-old gelding by Bremerson Adorado out of Contact Van de Hefbeek mare, Belgian bred, owned by Dalco Limited and Roine Solane. For Ireland, Connor Swale.
I would reckon he's probably safe with that first horse being the fastest 4 fault round.
That one sits right now in 5th. 3 clears, 1 on single time fault, 2 4s, 2 8s, a 9 and a 13 faulter right now are the top 10 scores. Just gets there a little deep. Doesn't quite get up over that front rail of the oxer. Connor always stays in position right in the middle of the horse's back. Great balance. You know, if you watch it, that takes a pretty strong core. And, you know, fitness, very important in the upper levels of riding and all levels of riding. But no matter what happens with his horse, when he gets up over the fence, by being up there, he has body control and can stay out of the horse's way to help them out and help them finish their jump.
He's got so much great natural feel, as Connor.
5 faults, finishes on a single rail and a time fault, 78.17, and that will put Connor right now into 7th place on the start list, into 7th.
So 5th and 7th with his 2 rides. And for those joining us on FEI TV later on today, you'll see Connor come in as the hot favourite for the World Cup. He's already won 2 legs. And I think he might just be one of the riders we'll see at World Cup finals. He's probably got enough points already to earn a place there. But he'll be featuring later on for that. That starts at 8 p.m. local time, which is like 4 a.m. if you're in the UK, but it'll definitely be worth a watch.
13 are left to go. The 10 best go through to the winning round, the jump off round, or all clear rounds. But it looks more likely that we will just see 10, unless we go on a tear here at the end.
Yeah, who knows? And of course, that starting order decided by the scores from the first round. And it is pretty much like a jump off. The only differences is the starting orders decided that we can sometimes take horses through on faults, but they lose the faults. And also the time faults, they stay at 1 for every commenced 4 seconds rather than 1 for 1 like a jump off. But other than that, it's about staying clear and fast when we get to the winning round.
Here's Jenny McAllister, the Allegiance Touch the Sun, the 15-year-old gelding by Necton out of Capital One. AgencyQuan.com, the owners of this Holsteiner gelding, with Jenny McAllister aboard.
She's one that's ridden her whole life. She's got a great base in California.
Just recently headed and moved over to New Mexico. A little quieter lifestyle. Jenny and her husband Steve. They head back, we're in the East for a little bit this summer showing. We saw them in Tryon and the international competitions there.
This is a horse she took to World Cup finals in Omaha, Nebraska. It was a great World Cup finals. We've not seen her jump this one internationally for a couple of years now. But so far, so good. So just taking a check as she came into the triple combination.
Yep, she's looking good, but time may be a factor here. She's gonna finish up, I think, on a time fault.
Yeah, I think so
Balanced
too.
up a little bit. 1 on the clock for Jenny in 78.86. 78.86. Looks like she will probably be okay here, but they sit in 5th right now, just behind Juan Carlos Garcia, who also had a time fault, and the 3 clear rounds at this point.
Yeah, so we've got everyone who's got 8 faults or better going through at the moment. But I think that will tighten up a little bit. Again, if you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, good to have you with us. Feel free to ask any questions. Let us know where you're watching from as well. We're watching those comments all the way through. And I know someone was looking out for this rider.
Well, it's Isabel Rothstein for the U.S. on Idiastra tu Palazzo, the 9-year-old mare by Quandros 3 out of a Diamant Assembly mare. Sylvia Gugler is the owner. Just gets kind of deep and stalled off the ground there to pick up the rail at number 2.
going how she wanted it today.
No. Already on 12 early on. Horse kind of came out of the turn and just grabbed the bit a little bit.
I think she was right there. She knew she was out of contention.
Yeah.
And just using a few steps of rein back can really just lighten up the front end. But I think we might see her put her hand up.
They will finish up retiring within the round. Or a second refusal, whichever you would like to call it, but they go on no further.
Yeah, you can see her giving her horse a pat. It just wasn't their day, and
yeah.
Again, you've just got to try and be positive and think about, you know, what you can go home and work on and the exercises you can do. Maybe try a bit change. It's shaping up to be a great one today. We know we've got 10 coming back.
Well, here's Misty Cassar, and Misty is on Viking Delhomme. 12-year-old gelding by Newton de Casker out of Bocage de Longines there. Alberto Rivera Torres is the owner.
She's been involved with the sport a long time. She was at the World Cup finals 21 years ago. And it's great to see her still producing some really nice horses. This one's had some good top 10 finishes over in Sacramento.
You notice the stirrups that Misty is wearing. They're kind of like a little bit like the bicycle stirrups. They have magnets in there to hold your foot in, and the whole side is open. So in case you go off, your foot just pops out. Nothing to hold you in, so you're not going to get caught and drug.
There's a few kind of different types of stirrups coming up and sort of through the industry now.
You get a good shot of the stirrups right there. You can see there is no outside portion, just kind of the inside and the footbed. And your foot held in there.
I was chatting to Mavis Spencer about these a few weeks ago, these stirrups, and she doesn't like them because she says she likes to be able to move her foot around a little bit when she rides. And that's the only thing with these, because the magnets are there, you can't really adjust your foot. Once it's stuck in that position, you can't lift your foot out the stirrup and move it around. So I think it would take a bit getting used to. But they're the sort of modern equivalent to the old safety strips that used to have the kind of big rubber bands on the side.
Yeah. So many different types of stirrups right now. Most of them, there's so many different styles of a stirrup with the safety mechanism.
See where that
Misty will finish on 4 just under the time allowed of 75.5. And that will go into 8th right now. So fastest of the 8 vaulters is sitting in 10th right now. Connor Swale on 5 in 9th, and Misty sits in the 8th position. Still just the 3 clears. Carl Cook the fastest, followed by Jamie Taylor and Nikki Callaghan.
Nicky Larson's asking how many left. We've got about 9 left to come. Sarah's watching in Orlando. Jennifer Snow's saying it's okay as you take it as a learning experience. That's exactly what you've got to do, Jennifer. You've got to focus on the positives. You've got to go back to the drawing board and decide what you've got to work on at home when it doesn't go quite right in the ring. Here's one that was at Washington and Tryon with us.
Luis Sabino Gonçalves for Portugal is in on Coco Chanel M, a 9-year-old mare by Cristallo. Christine Lovett is the owner. He is such a huge group of work. Over 50 Nations Cups internationally for Portugal. Been to the World Games, European Championships. Such a nice guy. We met him again. We were talking the other night about that, how on the final night of Washington, we had dinner with him. Back rail coming down on that Longines Oxer. He can maintain that 4. He has probably a fairly decent shot of making it in to the winning round.
Well, fingers crossed, comes down towards the final one.
Home on 4 for Luis. He'll move into the 8th spot, bumping Misty Cassar down into 9th. Connor Swale now in the bubble with his 2nd horse.
Janice Callahan's watching in South Africa. Ashley Fraser's watching in Scotland. Ashley, I used to teach at Pony Club, which makes me feel very old. Not as old as you, Oliver, but I mean, I'm getting that way, catching up slowly.
Getting a little long in the tooth. Well, Nicky Galligan makes his way back in on his 2nd mount. He's already clear on his 1st. He's in on Java's Miss Jordan. Ireland rider here with a 12-year-old mare by La Dame out of Obos Quality Mare. Irish sport horse. And this is the horse that he had great success with in the international competitions during Thermal in the early part of the season. Picked up a bunch of wins. So really this is his #1 horse right now.
Yeah, I would say so. There's a lot of good Irish riders now based over here. But Nicky's been, you know, getting some good mileage in with this one this year and had some great results. He's had this one since about 2018, so about 3 years. And he does a really good job with it. It sort of just pings off the floor. Oh, little rub. And again,
Markel comes down and he needs to pick it up because it looks like he's going to be on a time fault also. He is. He comes home on 5 faults. 77.55 is his time, and that knocks Connor Swale out of the top 10 with his 2nd ride. But it puts Nicky into the 10th position. So right now he has both of his horses in, but we have 8 more to go.
And we heard him having a bit of a rub coming down through this triple combination, and I think then having the Markel was a kind of knock-on effect, you know, from that. It just kind of caught up with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of going through the triple and then just having that short distance to get to that very careful Markel plank. Well, he'll watch Rowan Willis next. Akita Eindeken Zed is his ride, 11-year-old mare by Emilian van de Scheppel out of a Codex mare. The Zangerscheid for Australia's Rowan Willis. Finished on the podium here on the first night, the opening class. He was the winner with Blue Movie, picked up top 3 placing with this horse in the World Cup qualifier. The qualifier for the qualifier.
Qualifier, yeah. Rowan's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He's got some amazing horses at the moment. That was a shame.
He's been enjoying his time out here in Vegas too.
Yes, he has.
I think he said he and Connor Swale went to the hockey game the other night.
Connor's never here. He's either golfing at a nightclub,
at
the hockey game.
Well, whatever he's doing, it's working. So,
but I think that's one of the attractions as well, is the kind of prize money in the sort of top class sport. The riders enjoy coming here. It's kind of towards the end of the season, and there's only 1 or 2 classes for them a day, so there is a bit of time that you can go out and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And the jumpers are never really on in the morning, so you've got a bit of time to recover from the night before, which is good for us too.
Well, Rowan is on 8. So he will not be making it into the winning round.
And the riders will do that maths. They'll be kind of having a look at the scores backstage. So we might see a couple deciding to retire and call it a day. It just depends on the horse you're on and whether you think they need the mileage indoors or there's something you want to try and fix.
Well, he finishes up on 12 and 71.41. 12, 71.41 for Rowan Willis and Nikita. Right now sitting on the 15th spot of the leaderboard.
Elizabeth Malmstrom says, hello from Sweden. It's so much better to listen to us than the Swedish commentator. So much more information and more life. Well, I'm sure the Swedish one's very good as well, and it would sound good. We wouldn't be able to understand a word they're saying, though. Do you speak any Swedish? No. Paige is watching in San Diego. Good to have you with us, Paige.
Here's Clee Hellerman. BP Wakita, the 8-year-old mare by Pacino. Irish sport horse out of a cruising mare. Hard rub there.
That's the sort of rub you want in the warm-up before you come in.
Well, it stayed
still
up. So
still up.
Hopefully that sharpens it up, sharpens the horse up for the rest of the way.
If you are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, if you've got any questions, if you want to say hello, if you want to tell us where you're watching from, feel free to pop that in the comments box below. I think if I was the next rider, I think I'd want that first fence checked, because that was a pretty hard rub.
Oh, it jumped up out of the cups.
And actually, you know, if it still fell down, she'd still be faulted for it until she crosses the finish line. But that would be unlucky.
Oop, get across that oxer. All right, Clee, you're looking good. Time was good to leave it up. There we have Clee Hellerman on a clear round, and she will make it in. She sits as the third fastest time in this round right now. She'll come back in the 8th position in the jump off.
If you have just joined us, this is a winning round format, so it's top 10 are all clears that come back. If they go through on faults, they lose the faults and come back on a 0 scorecard. And the order of starting in the winning rounds decided by the faults and time from round number 1. Gav's watching in Israel and says, can you wish a happy birthday to his friend David? Happy birthday, David.
Sing to him, come on.
Happy birthday to you. That's all you're getting.
Aaron Ballard took a win yesterday's competition here in the Internationals. This is Nanini van de Albendrief, 8-year-old mare by Cannon, owned by Esperanza Imports and Ilan Furter.
And this horse is quite naturally quick, but already you can see she's in the winning round format. She's not thinking that this is a first round and just about getting home within the time allowed. She's got that kind of nice forward rhythm.
That's kind of the way this horse goes in every class. You know, some horses have a big stride, you have to hold them off. Other horses just like to carry that pace and kind of go way more forward. You know, and as long as they're good and adjustable, you can jump in and keep that up and then just balance back and get to where you want to go. Much better to carry pace and bottle it up than to have no pace and try and create something out of nothing.
You can see her just taking a little check round the corner. Just working through that distance.
Aaron looking good. Up and over. 73.94 is her time, so she now is the third fastest time. Carl Cook will be coming back at this point last, followed by Jamie Taylor, then Aaron Ballard, Clee Hellerman, and Nikki Galligan. Those are the clears. The two with a time fault, Juan Carlos Garcia and Jenny McAllister. Connor Swale on his first mount, Mavis Spencer with 4, and Luis Sabino Gonsalves sits on the 10th position of that leaderboard right now on 4. So just 3 of the 4 falters right now making it through.
Elizabeth Malmstrom says her friend doesn't believe that we really read an answer when you write on Facebook. Well, we are watching on Facebook, we are watching on YouTube, and her friend that doesn't believe her is called Frida. So you've got to believe Elizabeth. She never lies, Frida.
Italy is Juan Carlos Garcia back. Second mount is Laurenta Vanet Gilbrot, the 10-year-old mare by Lord Chin out of Quintus Mare, the Belgian bred owned by Stefex Stables. Now the Las Vegas Oxers front rail comes down.
So the fastest 4-fault round is 70.92, and the steadiest 4-fault round, which is outside the top 10, is 75.50. So if you want to be in with a shot, you've got to be, 70 there or thereabouts. That come down as well.
Another rail.
So he's out.
Up to 8. He's out of the winning round now.
Game over for him.
On 12. And they're going to decide that looks to call it a day. Already on 12, they know they're out of the winning round. And there's been a busy fall season, and there is still more to go after a bit of a down week next week before we pick back up.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier that it might happen because these riders are aware of the scores. They've got people watching the scores. They have a look at the scoreboards backstage, and these horses have only got so many jumps in them. So although we're taking 10 through, there's always 12 cash awards, but if you're outside the top 12, if you're not going to be getting any money, and your horse doesn't need the experience, then I think it's a great idea to retire.
4 to go in the first round, and coming in now is Savannah Jenkins. Combrado, the 10-year-old gelding by Como 25 out of a Coronado 3 mare. The German bred owned by Proper 12 LLC with Savannah Jenkins. Savannah's originally from Virginia, came out here to the West Coast late in her junior years, has been here ever since.
Debbie says, g'day from Australia. Good to have you with us, Debbie. We've got Karen in Ashfork. Lisa is in Seattle, and Lisa says years ago she met Carl Cook in an elevator when competing at a .80 at this show, actually. And Carl's been our favourite rider ever since. So go Carl, says Lisa. Keith Stockdale's watching England, currently in COVID isolation. Hope you're okay, Keith.
We've both been there and done that.
Yeah, been there. I got that t-shirt early on in the pandemic. It's great to see the world slowly starting to open up again, and it was great to see everyone because I hadn't been over here for so long.
Well, the skinny fence coming down for Savannah.
She set up her own base in 2020, just last year in California. She does a lot of sales, a lot of training, so a bit of coaching as well.
Now heading around to the triple. And the A element of the vertical coming down.
So it's game over for her.
On 8 as they head back to that last jump on the track. 73.81 on 8 for Savannah and Camardo.
So 5 clears, 2 on a single time fault, and the rest of the top 10 made up on 4 faults. There's one 4-fault round that's not coming back. That's Misty Cassar. The rest of the 4 faults are in. But we're down to the final 3. So if you're clear or you're on a time fault, then you're guaranteed to come back. 4 fault rounds, they'll have to bite their nails and find out what these final 3 do.
Laura Heights is in on Chattanooga, an 11-year-old gelding by Cornette's Prince. Carpilli mare, the Oldenburg owned by HF Farms LLC.
She was jumping over in thermal before joining us in Vegas, which would be about maybe 3.5, 4 hours away.
Yeah, about well, could be. It all depends on traffic.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we're not going to do the traffic report, but
famous California traffic.
Roughly, that's how far away it was. She had some good placings there, and just picks up a rail here.
Skinny catching the last two.
But 4 faults could still get you through. It all comes down to the time and leaving the rest up. 8 faults, you're out. It's game over, no prize money, and no chance to get into the winning round. This is a horse that Laura's had for a couple of years now. She's ridden it over in Europe. She's ridden it a lot in North America. Gave it a nice finish though.
76.02. They have 8 on the course, 1 on the clock, finishing on a total of 9. Just 2 100ths over that time allowed. Down to 2.
And then we have that exciting winning round still to come.
Luis Sabino Gonçalves sits in the bubble right now in 10th place for that second round. Mark Watring is next, Puerto Rican rider representing Puerto Rico on Limbocini RC, the 10-year-old Holsteiner gelding. He was the individual gold medalist in the Pan American Games in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Rode at the Los Angeles Olympics, but in the 3-day eventing discipline.
So this jump and ice round just the other night here in Vegas.
Not going to try and jinx him like I did the other night by accident there.
Yeah, exactly. This is a brand new horse on the international circuit. He took it out to its first international competition at Thermal at the beginning of the year in California.
Being a little bit precise, I think that he may have to worry about that time a little bit here.
But looking at the scores, because we're in a winning round format, he could have a time fault, it doesn't matter.
He can have a time fault and be okay.
And he'd lose that if coming back.
Balancing up, coming to that triple. Now he's gonna be on a time fault. Just over. He'll finish on 1, but that will guarantee him a spot in. Mark Watring of Puerto Rico with Limbocini RC finishes on a single time fault, 78.57. 1 to go. Luis Sabino Gonçalves bumped out of the top 10. Now Mavis Spencer is on the bubble. 5 clears. 3 on a time fault, and right now the fastest 2 4-faulters sit in the top 10. Carnut Celebriere and Melody Liu, our final rider for Peregrine Farms. She's on the 15-year-old gelding by Cartani out of Courlabriere, the Holsteiner Carnut Celebriere. Connor Swale is guaranteed a spot in as the fastest 4-faulter, but will Mavis Spencer hold on? We'll see. Melody needs to pick it up a little bit here, kind of.
Elizabeth's got a question on Facebook Live. Can you change the name on an approved stallion? Any ideas?
I mean, anything's possible, but yeah, it would be quite costly. There are fees that they charge for name changes both by the FEI and your national federation. It has been done. But if you're going to have it and do breeding, you kind of want to promote it as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Melody doing a good job here.
She's not looking good on time.
And she's last to go, so technically she could have 4 time faults.
Ooh, just skimmed over the plank.
That was lucky. Sometimes you need a bit of luck in the world of show jumping, though.
Yeah. Well, over the time allowed with a single time fault, but into the winning round, 77-1-2, and that bumped Mavis Spencer out of the top 10. So Connor Swale, the fastest 4-faulter, will come back. Our 4 on a time fault, and the 5 clears.
You can see how happy Melody is there on the way out. I think she's probably thinking how lucky she is about being able to hit that tiny plank and for it to stay on those completely flat cups.
Just curled up over that.
But sometimes in Vegas you need a bit of luck.
Well, certainly helps.
So all the clears, all those on a single time fault, and the fastest 4-fault coming back.
So there it is. Carl Cook will come back last with Kalinka Van at Zorgelit, then Jamie Taylor in Qatar, Aaron Ballard and Nini Van Dalbendrief, Clee Herleman and BP Wakita, Nikki Galligan and Casalissimo, Juan Carlos Garcia and Habab W. The fastest of those time falters. Then it's Melody Liu and Cornut Labrier, Mark Watring and Limbasini, Ligas Touch the Sun and Jenny McAllister. Connor Swale, will see him back first in the jump off with Theo, but we know that one is really, really fast.
Yeah. And although we can see,
12, Mavis Spencer will finish up with a check, and Luis Sabino Gonsalves, they take you through the top 12. And there you see the standings all the way on down the line.
and although those ones coming back, we could see towards the end that one on 4 faults, a few on time faults, they will come back on a 0 scorecard. So it's wide open when we get forward through into the winning round.
Well, Connor will have nothing to lose.
Yes. He'll want to add, he'll come back first to go because of that score, but he'll want to add on as much pressure as he can for those riders coming last. And you've got people like Carl Cook coming towards the end. Aaron Ballard's going to be quick. Clee Hellerman's quite fast against the clock.
The one thing that Connor has that he can do is, if he really goes for it, he's going to make the others, he's going to force them to go for it, and that may force them to make a mistake and help him.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can see our course designing team, led by Guilherme Jorge of Brazil, are springing into action. We've got the tractors in. They're taking away the material that's not going to be involved within the jump off. That'll open things up here in the arena a little bit, give them an opportunity to, make those tighter turns or areas where they can move up and try and save some time. And then they'll do some final preparations backstage, and then we'll see them coming forward for the winning round. But essentially it's a little bit like a jump off, because it's going to be the fastest one with the lowest number of faults that takes the victory. The only difference is the starting order's decided from the first round. We have brought people forward who had faults in the first round, but they come back on a 0 scorecard, and the time faults stay at 1 for every commenced 4 seconds, rather than being 1 for 1 like we'd normally see in a jump off. But other than that, you want to leave the fences up and you want to get home as fast as you possibly can. But the course designing team there just getting us ready, and then we'll be underway with that winning round. But make sure you stay with us, because it's going to be very exciting. Some quick ones in there without a shadow of a doubt. And again, if you've got any other questions you want to ask on Facebook Live, if you want to ask on YouTube, now's a great time. Or perhaps let us know who you are going to be cheering for. We've got Connor Swale in there. We've got Jenny McAllister, Mark Watring, Melody Liu, Juan Carlos Garcia, Nikki Galligan, Clee Hellerman, Aaron Ballard, Jamie Taylor, and then Carl Cook is going to be last to go. So if you're watching with someone, have a chat, decide who you're going to be shouting for, and do let us know on Facebook Live or on YouTube. If you have just joined us, I'm Adam Cromarty, Oliver Kennedy alongside me as well. And you've got more action to enjoy on FEI TV later today, 8 p.m. local time. We're going to have the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Las Vegas. It's part of the North American League. There's 8 events. This is leg number 5. We'll be off a little bit later on in December. We're off to Texas. Then we've got one in Mexico, a place called Puebla. And then we finish in Ocala. And of course the World Cup final taking place in Germany, in Leipzig, early next year. Connor Swale, who we're going to see in this winning round, coming first. He is in a very good position in terms of qualifying for that World Cup final. He's already won 2 qualifiers, and he's bringing that same winning horse through to the World Cup here in Vegas. And interestingly, that horse he's riding tonight, it goes in a bitless bridle of Hackamore. We've seen a couple go in that today, but it also comes in with no horseshoes on. And that's just how that horse has always gone. It's part owned by someone over in France, and when she was jumping it didn't have shoes, and when it came over she asked Connor if she could keep it unshod, and Connor said why would he change it, because you know it just goes so well like that. He obviously can't jump it on grass though in the big open fields where you need to put studs in. I mean, you could glue shoes on and put studs in those, but he just chooses, if he's going to a show that's on grass, then he just takes a different horse rather than taking that one that needs to have no shoes on. So that'll give you something to watch if you do join us on FEI TV for the World Cup here in Las Vegas. It is only on FEI TV though, so you'll have to watch on there. And that's 8 p.m. local time, which would be, oh, I don't know, you have to do the maths. I think it's probably like 5 p.m. Eastern here in the US. It will be 4 a.m. in the UK, 5 a.m. in Central Europe. I'm just having a look through Facebook Live. Carol Ward said, a great field. Louise Kennedy says, thank you for streaming. TV doesn't cover equestrian here in Ontario, Canada. She's going to be cheering for the Canadians. And Louise, you might see actually the World Cup on TV. It's on a lot of channels, the North American League. I know it's going to be on CBS Sports here in the USA. I think it's on Tuesday or Wednesday. You'll have to check your local listings. I'm not sure if you get that channel up in Canada. But we have been on TSN there with the World Cup in the past, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other channels as well. So do look out for that World Cup highlights. But yeah, I mean, this live streaming is great, and we've seen people join us from all over the world, from Australia, South Africa, Europe, of course, people in the UK watching as well. So wherever you're joining us from, it's great to have you with us. And if you do want to let us know where you are, if you want to tell us who you'll be cheering for, or if you've got any questions about the show, the format, the sport, anything in particular, if we don't know, we'll make up an answer for you. Connie says, go Jamie Taylor. Jamie's going to be coming as our second last to go in the field, so she's got a great draw. Someone's asking here, saying now everyone has 0 points. Yeah, they've got 0 faults as they come back. So the first round's really about deciding who's going to qualify for the winning round, and it decides the starting order. But if we are in a position like today where we bring them through on a time fault or on 4 faults, then they lose those faults. They come back on a 0 scorecard. It's wide open, and anything could happen. So Connor Swale, who had 4 faults in the first round, could now come back and win it, take it away from someone like Carl Cook, who had the fastest clear in round number 1. I really like this format. I think it's really interesting. It guarantees having the winning round, which is a bit like a jump off. And we are just about to get underway and see the 10 come through. Is there anyone you're looking out for, Oliver?
I'm going to go with Connor and Theo.
Connor, right from the front?
I think right from the front.
I'll go for Carl then, right at the other end.
Yeah. I think he's going to force the people to go. And that one has been pretty nifty, and I just, after last night, that's my shot.
Well, I think if Connor comes in and has a rail down, then it's really wide open. I mean, I think he's always the odds-on favourite at the moment. He seems to be winning every class at every venue, no matter where he goes. But the athletes are out there in the warm-up. You can actually just see the warm-up arena. If you look towards the top left of your frame there, of your screens at home, you can see the practice fences. And then that's what we call the kiss and cry, kind of middle right of your screens, just to the right of the Longines clock there. It's a bit of a platform where you can climb up the stairs and get a really good view. So you'll see kind of all the grooms or the trainers or the people connected with the horses will be able to watch what happens as they come into the ring. Because it really does take a small army. You know, the riders are such a small cog in this giant machine that keeps all these horses on the road and flying around the world. But I know all the grooms enjoy coming to this show because everything is under one roof. They've got like 1,000 climate-controlled stables here. And, you know, the hotel, we haven't been outside for 3 or 4 days because, you know, we've got 12 restaurants here. Oliver, you were commentating on Hunters last night. I went to the cinema, but again, didn't leave the hotel. It's in here as well. Then the bars are here. It's got a casino, ice cream parlor. It's such a fun place to come. And I don't know if you can still do it, but you used to be able to order room service to your horse's stable.
I'm not sure if you get it. They did that up until a year or so ago, but yeah, you just gave them your stall number and all of a sudden they rolled up with the room service cart.
Yeah. I wonder if we could get anything delivered up here. Do you think that would work?
Oh, we could give it a try. Also, along with that, everybody who's sitting up in the hotel rooms can sit there and watch, hear everything that's going on, catch the whole show up in their hotel room. So they don't even have to come down here and sit in the stands.
No, exactly, which is handy. If you want to watch someone earlier in the morning, I was watching someone at about 8:15 this morning. I wanted to have watch that one round, so I don't even have to get dressed and come down. I could just turn it on the TV and stay in bed, which is very handy, especially when you're in Vegas and you don't want to get up too early because there's so much to do at night. I mean, we went to see a really funny show called Absinthe. We went to see Sting, who was playing at Caesar's Palace. That was a great show.
That's the one thing about this show, that there's so much entertainment. We travel all over the place.
Yeah.
And go to some beautiful venues, some beautiful towns, but there is nothing.
No.
Nothing like Las Vegas.
There could only be one Vegas, and that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
You can see Connor Swale there at the end gate.
Well, he's hoping what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas because he's been winning a lot and he wants
Yes.
to take that luck with him.
He absolutely does.
Oh, here's my pick, Connor Swale. Theo, the 9-year-old gelding, was a winner on our Thursday evening qualifier for the World Cup qualifier. Very quick horse and one of the fastest riders in the world is starting us off.
Well, he's really going to add as much pressure on as he can for the rest of the field. This is going to be an interesting one. This round that Connor's about to do is going to set up how the rest of this winning round goes. You know, if he has a rail, everything's wide open.
Winding it up. Sets up his turn back. Rolls back to the B and C element of the combination now.
That was slick.
Now back to this is 14 added in for the jump off. This
Whoa.
fence now a vertical. And there you see that balance we've been talking about always with him. He just keeps himself out of the way and lets the horse get over the fence. It's amazing.
You can see him keep that nice kind of forward position, just lets the horse move underneath him.
40.51 on a clear ride to start us off here in the jump off. Connor Swale of Ireland. Will that be good enough?
Well, it's certainly added a lot of pressure on. You know, the rest of the riders will know that now. And you can see that jump. Look at that.
I mean, his position and his athleticism as a rider, that would have been drugged down by basically any other rider on the course. But he just somehow keeps his body out of the horse's way, and the horse can get up and over the jump. Jenny McAllister is next to go. Lee Just Touch the Sun is her ride. 40.51, the target to catch from Connor Swale and Theo, who are looking for win number 2 this week.
Yeah, they've got something to chase now, the rest of them. And they'll have to decide what their plan is. Are they going to stick to the original plan? Are they going to try and catch Connor? Julie's watching from Spain. Good to have you with us, Julie. We've got Carol in Ireland there. Another Carol in Florida.
Yeah, this horse, you watch Connor's horse, very quick. This horse, a bigger horse, bigger stride. But not going nearly as quick as it looks. But sometimes that can be, the looks can be deceiving.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's getting the efficient turns.
40.51 to beat. You can hear someone in the crowd saying, come on, go, 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 stop pulling, get kicking.
No. 42.72, 42.72. That is on a clear and sits in second place.
Yeah, she's a little bit steady down to that final oxer, but I've not seen her jump this horse internationally for a couple of years now. So, to come in here, to jump a nice clear, and put in quite a solid performance, it's certainly not a bad day at the office.
So our first two both going clean.
Lucas was shouting for Jenny. Lucas is in New Mexico, and Sherry's right here watching live. So good to have you with us, Sherry.
Watching live and watching us at the same time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mark Watring comes back. He made it into this on a time fault. Limbasini RC is his ride, the 10-year-old Holsteiner. 40.51 is the target. Still have Aaron Ballard, who was a winner yesterday, a quick rider. Carl Cook, a quick rider. Nikki Galligan, always fast.
Oh, a little rub there. And Jenny wasn't that far away from Connor. I don't think it's over here. I think they could try and beat Connor.
You know, Connor lost a little bit of time when he got to that fence where he had to really make that athletic effort, so.
You can see him using his upper body in that turn. Opening things up down here.
Last jump. Not going to take the lead. 42.96 is his time. That is clear and sits in third now for Mark.
A time of 42.96. And that'll go behind Jenny McAllister, who is behind Connor Swale. Mark Watring, Limbasini RC, third place right now, clean.
7 more to go.
Elizabeth Malmstrom says, what happened to my podcast? She's listened to every episode 3 times now. Well, I am going to try and do some more, hopefully in the new year, early in the new year, maybe January. It's just been so difficult with COVID and not really traveling as much, but look out for it in the new year. So Connor Swale still leads, 40.51. That's the challenge, that's the time to be beaten. Some quick ones still to come here though. And we've now seen the areas where they can get those tighter turns. We've seen the areas where they can try and make up some time as well.
Fourth to go, Melody Liu, and for the USA.
Melody will be one of the younger riders in the field here.
15-year-old Holsteiner Gilding for
40.51 the target. 15-year-old Carnot Labrier. Trying to get a little revved up here.
Remember how lucky she was in the first round with that Markel plank. Yeah. So hopefully, you know, she's had that rub now. Hopefully she doesn't need that luck here in the winning round.
I really like this horse. He just...
Melody does as well, and she's always so happy when she finishes. She's always giving it a big pat. She's always smiling.
Really tight turn back there.
And she's not going for broke, but she's putting in a really nice round. She's getting some nice smooth turns. Still up.
43-14 on a clear. We'll go into fourth for Melody Liu and her ride on Carnot Labriere.
That's a round she can really build on. She should be very happy with that. So Connor Swale still holding on to that lead.
Such a good guy.
40.51, still a challenge, still a time to be beaten. Just edging towards that halfway stage now here in the winning round.
Italy's Juan Carlos Garcia on Habab W.
For Italy, Juan Carlos Garcia. And he'll try and do better than Connor Swales.
The 9-year-old Royal Dutch Warm Blood by Nabeb Derev.
Judy Campbell's on Facebook Live saying go Melody. She's a great young rider, is Melody. And Carlos has got tons of experience, so let's see what he's going to do. And you could see him kind of looking for that right-handed turn as he came to the first fence, but then just has a early rail down. The good thing about the winning round is you're guaranteed prize money, because you know the top 12 get money, it's top 10 that come back are all clears, so they're all going to end up with a check at the end of this. So even if you have that early rail, you've got to keep going.
Now the gallop up to the top end of the ring.
And that's an area where they can really make up some time.
Connor did leave a couple of places where somebody can take a shot.
Yeah, there's a door open somewhere. Took that out with its chin, I think.
Home on 8-2 down. Early rail in the last in 42.89 for Juan.
I think he'll be a bit frustrated with the last fence there. At least he can't say he was unlucky.
Up next is Irish rider Nikki Gallagher.
So 4 double clears. That round we just saw in 8 faults and 5 left to come. I still don't think this is over.
She gets right down there just a little bit. Nicky Galligan, the Irish rider now, will challenge his Irish compatriot Connor Swale. 40.51 is the time to beat. In the second half now, we've seen 5 more to go, and here's the first of those.
He means business. Look, he's already picking up this nice big rhythm. But it's having that forward rhythm and still being able to turn and get up in the air over that gappy upright.
Well, Connor survived another one.
But he's keeping that forward pace. Slick through there.
Well, the Walter Oil fence coming down.
Not far away on the time.
8 in 42.64.
So the time was good enough for second, but those rails are costly and heads down into 5th place. Carol says, go Connor, you can never beat the Irish. Well, there's going to be another 4 that are going to try to beat the Irish, Carol.
Gallops up there to the Longines Oxer. Got there, had to just maybe fit another half a step in there. And
yeah.
It was either the winger or... Now it's Clee Hellerman and BP Wakita, 8-year-old Irish sport horse.
Come on, Clee. That's gone, I think.
Connor looking good here. Now he's survived another, just 3 more to go to challenge him. Clee already with the first jump down.
I've either got clears or 8s on our leaderboard so far, so even a 4-fault round could still put her above those 8s, but now she's on 8. Yeah. So the fastest 8-fault round we've had is 42.64, so that's now what she's kind of campaigning against.
Up to the top end here. And out of the final jump on 8. They'll finish on 8, the slowest of the 8s. 46.51 on 8 for Clee Hellerman and BP Wakita. They sit in 7th, 3 still to come.
We've got Elizabeth Swigwan, I think that's how you pronounce your name, saying go Erin, go, go, go. And also Lauren Berger saying come on Erin, 2 for 2 today for Canada.
8-year-old Belgian warm-blood mare from Esperance Imports and Elon Ferger. Here's Erin Ballard.
Erin Ballard. Erin in on Nanini van de Albendrief, the 8-year-old mare. Right to it here as she heads on the track. Efficient ride, galloping forward. Setting up that next turn.
This is quick.
She's catching it all in stride. This is the one place where Connor kind of had a little bit of an issue.
Up. Go, go, go.
Connor Swale survives another one.
I think she could catch the time.
I think she's got the time. 39.53 without risk, though. You don't get the reward. She really took a shot, had the 4, and that will be the first 4 falter. It will go into 5th place behind our 4 clears. So we know the time can be beat, but can our 2 remaining riders do it and leave the sticks in the air?
See, it just opened up there, trying to really set things up, and then just catches it behind. I know I said this earlier, but the winning round is such an interesting format because Connor Swale had a fence in the first round, and he's still leading with 2 left to go.
Jamie Taylor and Qatar for the USA, still chasing Connor Swale and Theo at 40.51. All 3.
Oh, here's Jamie Taylor and Qatar, 11-year-old stallion. 40.51 is the target. Nice, catching that right in stride. Ooh, got deep, but it worked.
It was fighting her a little bit off the corner. Someone's shouting, go, come on. Oh, this is going to be...
it's going to be close, going to be close.
That was fast.
And she does it. Jamie Taylor.
You can see her punch the air. You can see just how happy she is.
38.84 the time with Qatar.
Wow. I don't know what's going to be more exciting, beating Connor Swale or potentially winning this competition, because Connor's been an absolute fire and almost unbeatable recently.
Well, thought you were cheering for him. You might get a chance. Carl Cook, he loves to go clean.
Nice gallop to that last jump.
Yeah, and a couple really hadn't done that. It's an area where you can open up. Let's see what Carl's plan is.
Carl Cook, no stranger to going fast. 38.84 is the target now. Jamie Taylor sits on top of the leaderboard with just Carl to challenge with Qatar. And he's in on Kalinka Vanna Zorgalit, the 11-year-old mare.
Oh.
Oh.
Rachel says, let's go Carl Cook. She's watching on Facebook Live. Come on.
Yep, got to step it up now. And he's really going for the gallop.
Oh, I think this is game on. He's not far away.
Come
Has
on.
to go here. He has to push
He's
down to the final
all
fence.
the way.
Come on, stop pulling.
No, stop pull. Go. No, Jamie Taylor takes the win. Carl will go into second place, 39.60. That balancing up to the last fence could have been a little bit costly there for Carl. He will finish up in second today with Kalinkoven at Zorgelic. Jamie Taylor will take the win. Curls up there over and then really pushes up here. Or is that a push or a push?
A push. And I think he could have moved up down to that final fence, but Carl knows these horses inside out, and he's a great horseman. He wouldn't gallop down to a final fence if he didn't think the horse had the ability to then ping off the floor when he got there.
Well, that is the winning round format. Exciting competition here today as they get set for the prize giving ceremony. Jamie Taylor of the United States will take the win with guitar in 38.84. Carl Cook was second. Ireland's Connor Swale had the lead for all the way until the last two. Will finish in third, followed by Jenny McAllister. Mark Watring of Puerto Rico. Melody Liu of the USA finishes up in sixth with Carnot Labriere. And we continue down to see the seventh place going to Erin Ballard on 4 faults, 39.53, and she had the second fastest time. Nikki Galligan of Ireland was 8th, Juan Carlos Garcia of Italy in 9th, Clee Herleman of the US in 10th, Mavis Spencer and Belladonna were 11th, and Luis Sabino Gonçalves of Portugal rounds out the money placings in our class today.
Well, Cheryl says bravo. Susan Cannon says congratulations, Jamie Taylor. Rachel Farnsworth, way to go, USA. Cheryl says thanks, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, Cheryl. And Susan Cannon said love this, thanks to the live stream. Well, thank you for being with us, Susan. And a thank you to everyone who's joined us from around the world today. It's always great to see and hear, how many people are watching from all over the globe.
Nice to know there are people out there listening to us.
Absolutely, otherwise we'd just be sitting here as if we were in the bar. Yeah.
Well, we are glad you joined us. We hope you tune in tonight and watch the World Cup class on Clip My Horse and FEI TV.
Yep.
Or on the various channels all around the world.
Yep.
That it will be broadcast live on.
I think the highlights are on CBS Sports on Wednesday evening. I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern and 12 o'clock over here if you're local to Vegas. It's also going to be on Eurosport Live in Europe and in Asia Pacific, as well as a whole host of other channels. But I'll be joined on the broadcast with Katie Stazak. But I've been Adam Cromarty alongside Oliver Kennedy. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with Kenny Marish, our ring announcer, here for the prize giving ceremony, and hopefully we'll speak to you again very soon.
before we get underway with our awards ceremony, we'd like to take this time to present a very special award, the M. Michael Miller Style Award. Each year, this award is presented to an equestrian who displays an exemplary style of riding, as well as sportsmanlike conduct in and out of the ring in the FEI jumping division. Someone who exemplifies what it means to be a true role model for our industry. The winner of the M. Michael Miller Style Award at the 2021 Las Vegas National Horse Show, presented by previous winner Aaron Ballard, would you welcome Natalie Dean. Natalie is one of the nation's top developing athletes, most recently producing a clear round and a top placing in the $213,300 Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Lexington CSI 4-Star W at the National Horse Show on QBS equestrian graduate Chance Sandoval. Natalie's style, both in and out of the ring, has allowed her to quickly climb the ranks, and she has a very exciting future ahead of her. Our congratulations to Natalie Dean, winner of the 2021 M. Michael Miller Style Award here in Las Vegas. Congratulations, Natalie. So in just a moment, we'll bring in our top 5 for the winning round classic. $50,000 is the prize purse we distribute amongst our winners. Presenting all awards for Fundamental Sports, Alexandra Zulian and Cheryl Pinckney, and honorary ringmaster Dylan Lucas. Would you congratulate your 5th place finish, Mark Watring, for Puerto Rico on the Limbocini RC. In 4th place, Jenny McAllister for the USA, Regis Touch the Sun. In 3rd place, for Ireland, Connor Swale and Theo. In 2nd place, for the USA, Carl Cook and Kalika Zorvate. Ladies and gentlemen, from a spectacular ride, congratulations to the winner of the winning round classic, Jamie Taylor of the USA, Qatar. Connor Swale had that first clean ride. He put the pressure on all the rest, and it was Jamie Taylor to break that barrier, 38.84 for the win aboard Qatar. Our winner with the Horseware Ireland prize-giving blanket, the Ogilvy saddle pad, her rider medal, top-line design, ribbon, wreath, and a keepsake ornament. Congratulations with all of the prizes and the winner's share of that $50,000 purse. Jamie Taylor, Qatar, for the USA. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join us as we salute the national anthem of our winning rider, and of course, for the red, white, and blue, would you rise and remove cover? Congratulations to Jamie Taylor and Qatar. Jamie, the owner and rider as well, owned by JT Equine, and off they go. Help her celebrate this victory on the gallop. Congratulations, Jamie Taylor for the USA. Jamie Taylor leading on the line. Carl Cook second. Connor Swale, Jenny McAllister, Mark Quattering, your top five. The $50,000 Las Vegas National Winning Round Classic, presented by Blenheim Equisports. Jamie Taylor winning by a 3/4 of a second margin, which is huge in this sport. On Qatar. Well done, Jamie. Congratulations. So we'll turn things over to our crew, and we will build a course for the WCE Equitation Finals Round 2 coming up next.